Good afternoon. My name is Rahel, and I want to apologize a bit. I have a sore throat, but I hope I can manage to be clear. So I come from Ethiopia, which is located in East Africa, and though I'm always referring myself and other people that I'm from Africa and are you from Africa, just want to say that I am going to talk today from a very particular context of Ethiopia. And Africa is a vast, vast nation of beauty and different cultures and different spaces. So I come from Ethiopia, and particularly from Addis Ababa, which is the capital of Ethiopia. And because I'm an architect and I lived my whole life basically in Addis Ababa, I want to talk on the architecture and the spaces that I come from that context. So Addis Ababa, so basically capital city of Ethiopia. And this is in the 80s and late 70s and 80s when Addis was, basically when I grew up, I went to school there, and this is my neighborhood, you know, with all the differences of modernization and part slums. And this, especially Piazza, which is my neighborhood, is a quaint little town with all the beauties that you always associate with of your hometown and your neighborhood. So I went to school in Ethiopia, went to School of Architecture in Addis Ababa, and I have an Architecture and Urban Planning Institute in Addis Ababa, and that's where I went for 5 years in the late 80s and early 90s. And what happened was, just as we were graduating from university, the big African economic boom started, which maybe you have, the economy was so changing. And in the Ethiopian context, actually, because we had the early famines of the 70s, as most people are aware in Ethiopia, and then later on about the socialist regime, which lasted for 17 years, there was basically nothing happening in Ethiopia, except many young people were going out of the country. And so when I graduated, I was faced with a choice on what do we do. And fortunately, as you can see, I just want to show you the context where I'm coming from. Addis Ababa is the fastest growing city in Africa. And with all the, you can see the skyline is always filled with cranes and tower cranes and construction. And it's a beautiful city. And it's the seat of the African diplomatic and political capital, because the African Union is located in Addis. So we have all the 53 African countries and nations coming all the time for visits, conferences. We have the Economic Commission for Africa, which is based in Addis. And actually, second from New York, Addis Ababa hosts the largest number of embassies in the world. So it's actually a very important city. And so with the economic boom came all the infrastructure works and all the hotels trying to accommodate these industries and these conferences. Also, Addis, with all the beauty, has the other face. It has the two faces of the city, which is, you can see the construction boom on one sector, even, you know, bisected by a road, and on the other side is the slum areas and the housing that were prevalent. So I call Addis in the past 15 years, it's under construction, reconstruction, and everything is happening all over. So you can see, I just wanted to show you some things about the chaos that you can feel there. Buildings, new housing schemes that are being undertaken by the government all throughout the country and the city, which is huge, thousands of government housing schemes going around the outskirts of the city, trying to replace and relocate the slum areas for many housing residents in Addis. You can also see transportation, new road networks. You can see the chaos and the beauty and the colors. And I'm kind of biased because I kind of love it in a way, all the confusion and the colors. But also the newness of it is, as we go, every day we find new things happening. So you can see the newest light rail network that is just being inaugurated in Addis, which is the pride of all of us. At the same time, it's on a planning, if you see it from a planning perspective, it's really literally dissects all the neighborhoods into two. But we love it. We have the blue line, the red line, and in the back you can see all the construction activity going on. And this is continuous. I mean, every day you walk out from your house, you don't know which roads are closed, which roads are opening. So it's that movement. Every day there's movement in construction. And so this is the new face of Addis. I mean, it's just, you can see colors over every buildings of every size, of every context, of every color. And so how do we as architects, or how did I as an architect working in Ethiopia, what was my responsibility in Addis, and how did I find my own niche in this opportunity as well as confusion that is happening in Addis? So there are three factors that actually I really thought about. How do I actually say why I'm doing what I'm doing? And it's three things, basically. It's education and choice and resilience. So education, I have to say, was very much ingrained in my brain from when I was very young. And because we grew up very kind of, in a very hard times, my father said the only way out is education. I mean, this is the only way for you to make a difference. So I said, okay, we have to do the education part. I did my education in Addis. And then the choice was, I had the choice to live like most young Ethiopians at that time. And I chose to stay, and because I thought that that's where I could make a difference. And then resilience is a lifetime of what I've been doing. And it comes with me being a woman, me being, of African, Ethiopian descent, me being, of course, even short, because some people really make it. So, but you have to kind of break the mold and break the box and break everything that is cultural in our society to have made a difference. And I think that is the choice I made. The first project out of college, I was lucky enough to be involved in this amazing project. It's an evangelical church. It didn't pay. We had to work with a mentor. And we did it with so much. For 2 years, I actually learned what it was to go through a building process. So we did the designs, we did the details, and we did most of the things together. So after that, we said, 3 of us were together. We co-founded Abba Architects. And I just want to show you just very quickly the kind of works that I've been involved in the past, let's say, 25 years. We take projects that are very close to our heart. The Addis Ababa Fistula Hospital, which works with young girls with the fistula problems that come from the countryside. We did many smaller projects, very community-based, and always with love and with attention to these girls. And then the other extreme was working on, for example, projects of collaboration with the Dutch architects Bjarne and Dick Mastenbroek. So we did this project, and it won the Aga Khan Award for Architecture in 2007, which introduced us to bigger projects of collaboration. I founded Dras Architects in 2004, and we did many public projects. This is another collaboration work of the South African Embassy in Addis Ababa with the MMA architects from South Africa. And it goes on and on, the British Council project. And I could be talking about this project and how everything happened, but you can have a sense. My design principle was quality, and mostly using very modern and concepts with very local traditional materials and ideas. So we did a lot of education projects, and I'm just going to flip through them. I'm sorry if I'm very quick. It's like a movie, consider it like a movie. But we did a lot of many residential projects, and all of them with attention to detail. And this, for example, is after the Addis Ababa style, which if you're in Ethiopia, you'd understand. This is a project that we're just doing now, that we're trying to involve the community in actually producing the blocks and doing each and every block is measured and is constructed and actually fabricated on the site. And it's a housing scheme, very simple, very logical. So we're trying to bring in quality in the works that we do. So yeah, we've involved in many bigger projects, smaller projects, but whatever we do, we try in my office to engage in very different ideas all the time. So these are all the housing projects that we're doing. And like I said, the issue for me is giving the same quality and time and passion for the big embassy projects as you do for the smaller rural projects that we're involved in. And I like working, like I said, very much with traditional elements, if and when the client allows. So yes, this is modern buildings. Healthcare is what I'm mostly working with. This is a very simple project with bamboo and also collaboration with German architects. And we did this for the TB Center for Children in Addis Ababa. And this is also the Cure Hospital, which is also another NGO that I work with for children with problems of... So this is kind of, and then also commercial projects that yeah, you have to do as well to sustain your office, and then in the same way, big commercial projects, and then smaller and very meaningful projects that we can use bamboo and traditional concepts and ideas in the same way to do many projects in the outskirts of Ethiopia. Hospitality, again, we've done many in the mountains of Ethiopia. We've done lodges, and which are true to that environment. And this is Awasa on a lake, and we did this with very simple Ethiopian tukul style, which everybody loves. So, and also, I'm very passionate about this project. As you can see, we use a lot of local building materials, techniques, and we kind of modernize it a bit to give it, again, many resorts and hotel proposals. And so, and also landscape, because like I was trying to say, I mean, in Ethiopia, there's no landscape architect or interior designer, or so we kind of are a mixed breed, let's say. So having said all that, and my passion, again, as being like the groundbreaker and the breaker of all doors and the breaker of everything that is normal, I really turned out to be a person who works very closely with young people, especially young women, in the field of architecture, planning, and construction. There are not so many, as I said, and I just felt it's kind of my responsibility to be teaching and to be mentoring and to learn from each other. Basically, we have in our office, we have all the sessions of empowering and enriching each other. We have equitable, I mean, women in construction is so strange, so that we kind of am at the leading of taking people out onto the construction sites and saying, yeah, we want the men as well as the women. And I can happily say we have many young men in our office as well. We work on many project sites all around Ethiopia. And this is the team that has made who I am. It's not, I believe that architecture is a constant learning, and I learn from the young people, they learn from me, and we have a lot of grounds together. I just didn't want to really put this, but I felt it was relevant because the recognitions meant that for me, I was validating what I was doing in a way. It gave me voice to be in the international scene. It gave me reason to go on, because being who I was very difficult. I have 2 children and I have a family and I've been raising them, and most of you have been asking these questions, how do you bring balance? And that has been very hard. So this Aga Khan Award, that was the award we received in 2007. It really elevated my profession in the international scene, and so many people like GSD graduate school students came in 2009 and worked with us for 2 weeks on a project. So those kind of things. So that, and then this book, Tamsalet, is a really amazing book published in Ethiopia. It's about 64 outstanding Ethiopian women who made a difference in their professions. And it's actually published 30,000 in Amharic, which is our Ethiopian language, to be distributed to all the schools in Ethiopia. And it's like, I have people, young girls calling me from the remote parts of Ethiopia telling me, yeah, it's possible that you have come from the same roots that we are. And I feel that encouraging them is very essential. And ZellekeThursday is another NGO that I closely work with. It is for young girls in higher education. And basically, they give opportunities to these girls. And so we do all the design. So being an architect means that you can actually use your talent to work with all these organizations and people and make a difference. And I'm so happy more to be an influential in that sense than just being an architect. So in reflecting this year, I really am thinking of so many things, but what I want to do is reflect. I mean, I've been working constantly for the last 25 years. I want to take time to think about what I want to do, but mostly it's about networking for me and finding like-minded people and finding mentors and finding directions. And also, I'm so, like I said, I started with education and I want to end with education. I'm very much involved in mentoring young people, and I'm very happy to be working and networking with students at the GSD like I did a long time before. And basically, I just want to be a change agent and continue to be that in my home country and also at the international level, because I think that's where more action can be found, as I have seen. And being here is a great opportunity for me, and I really am very happy to be here, and thank you so much.